Hey everyone. Let me introduce myself. I know that you know me as a Jane Klepa, as the Executive Director 1991 Open Data Incubator, but I hope that you, of course, know our main speakers. But firstly, I want to ask you in our chat, do you know what does it mean, VUCA? Of course, you read it in our event, but do you know it earlier? Let me characterize shortly that it's complexity, volatility, ambiguity, and uncertainty. And about that, we talk today. So, let me introduce the first speaker, and it will be Daria Leshchenko, CEO, partner at SupportYourApp, co-founder and advisor at Label Your Data. Daria, the screen is yours.
Hi, everyone. One more time, my name is Daria Leshchenko. I'm a CEO and partner at SupportYourApp. I'm also a Harvard Kennedy School alumni and the first Ukrainian girl to be accepted in Forbes Tech Council. At SupportYourApp, we provide customer and technical support, and currently we have 500 employees that live with us in these uncertainly very not easy times, and we'll be happy to discuss different interesting questions with you, and probably in the end we'll have the results and our vision of what we'll have eventually after this crisis.
Thank you very much, Daria. And the next one will be Nina Levchuk, Startups and VCs and Technology Industry Lead at Google, Career of the Year by Cosmopolitan, and of course, co-founder of FemTech Academy. Nina, please.
Hi guys. Jane, first of all, thank you so much for introduction. I'm super glad to be here today with you. I think it's an awesome initiative, and it's great that we would be able today to talk about such important topics. What I could add from my side, as you have mentioned, I'm basically working in leading startup direction, startup and VC direction associations within Google. But as well, one of my latest focus is the FemTech Academy. That's an initiative that I have created with one of my co-founders, Karolina Spodina. And we have a big goal, actually. First of all, survive through the COVID, and secondly, to educate over 10 million females around the world in the next 5 years for free. So I would say I could share my experience today from the both direction, from the corporate world, from the startup world, but as well by being an entrepreneur by myself. So really looking forward to chat with you ladies and with you guys who is behind the screen.
Thank you. And so let's start. Let me understanding with you at the same page, guys. And I try to explain. We haven't any presentation. We have a discussion with girls, and you can also ask your questions. So please do it in our chat. The first question from me, Nina, tell me please, how do you think now, not your maybe company, but your project as a FemTech Academy, what's your main reason to do now in VUCA reality? And why maybe you think about the same concept of this project now, but not earlier?
Yeah, I would say, let me address it from the both side, right? I guess you're asking it from the side from FemTech Academy, but as well from the startup direction. Is it actually a good timing to do investments or anything like that? So if you're talking about FemTech, it's super easy. It's non-profit. So there is we of course have a fixed cost, right? That we hopefully would be able to cover through some government support and potentially through VC support. But why now? It's not about COVID even time. It's about that we started way before. I think it's about idea just to boost entrepreneurship. And I think actually COVID is helping us because now more people actually have time spent online and really start to evaluate of education, right? What does it mean to learn online? And so it's opening a lot of really great direction for us, and as well as help us to reach many people, right, within the web, and do it smoothly without no too big extra cost. and as well like really positions this project strongly because people looking for the opportunity to develop themselves while they're locked at home. And oops and in terms of the what I like, the most often questions that I'm receiving as a startup lead, is it what happening right now, is it a good time for getting investment or start any project or any business? And I would say it's very depends, right? If your business model are really addressing the service or the product, it could be because it could survive through the different realities of being offline and being online. It's never good or bad time. You need to do it now. And I have a tons of examples actually of the startups who are right now closing the rounds, doing it very successfully. And obviously it's driven by consumer behavior, how COVID actually shifting this behavior in our new reality.
Daria, and how do you and your projects and company change during this time?
I think that we became stronger because we feel the impact of this situation in different ways. Some of our clients, they've stopped their businesses. So we've started thinking about, okay, so what should we do? How we should rotate our people to other projects. Another way, other companies, they have increase of the workflow. And thanks to these changes, we are luckily arrange all changes in the company. But right now we know clearly what we want to focus on, what should we do, what is basically just a needed noise and buzz that just distract us from the real great KPIs and objects that we have at our company. So, and also probably very important to think of and feel what kind of attitude you have towards this situation, and just do not give up, stay positive, because it's not the end of the world. It will be end up eventually. So these things really matters, and it changed at our company a lot.
I of course agree that it really matters, and for me, team relations is very important too in this time. Of course, yes, but if you speak about business, we all talking about new changes, new chances. Is it about new business models or some pivots in our projects? What does it mean? Or we should change our style of management, for example, or altogether? What do you think about that, Nina?
So I would say your questions could be split in two parts, right? One part is business and second is a management style. If we're talking about business, I think it's definitely opportunity for businesses to understand in which bucket they are. And if you think about where all the businesses ended up during this new reality, it's either they're completely blocked, right? So they're in the very challenging situation where they cannot really adopt their business model super fast, and they not potentially don't even have economical support behind them, right? So to put it and just wait quietly. The second part, right, they, for instance, a bit more flexible, and they just quickly starting assessing, okay, so how can we adjust to the new reality? Are we fast enough? Do we have enough resources to survive? The third one, those who actually like, and we have a lot of examples, for instance, in home exercising, right? Where there are a lot of startups who was providing access to the offline like sport perks, completely like reverse their business model and start to provide everything online. So they're like pivoting their business, and this giving and opening them opportunity actually, not just grow loyalty within their current customers, but as well to acquire new customer, and it's a very cheap cost because people potentially looking for that solutions. And this fourth, of course, probably the most lucky ones, those who actually has the ability to invest and even grow their, I would say, base of the customers, because their, I would say, business model completely fit to the demand that currently exists in the new reality. Again, I'm just like really shocked how many cool companies now start exist while the COVID started. Like one of them, like I really love it, Hava. I'm not sure if you heard. It's like basically the girl who created the Miro that you could put in your bedroom, and then this mirror actually a screen, and you could exercise with your favorite gym coach, and then like basically as well record your exercising, and then send them, receive a feedback, receive the dietary advices, and it's all happening through the mirror. I mean, if you think about production costs of that mirror, is basically a screen, but it looks like a mirror. But that's a cool approach, and I think the guys were able to like launch it super quick, and then through the last 2 months, they are like, customer base just grew like a skyrocket, like, like a Tesla was flying to the moon. Right? Look like that. Yeah, so that's in terms of the business model. I think the most important part is understand where you are, and do like reflections through the months, right? Because it's changing very fast, and like everything is changing, not just the way how COVID evolving, but how the business reality and the business ecosystem is reflecting to that. And when you know where you are, then to work on recovery plan, right? Or on the growth plan. Depends if you're in the first two buckets or in the last two buckets. In terms of the management style, maybe let's Daria talk about that, and I then could add on actually.
Firstly, I want also ask you, Nina, and do you have some pivots into projects and startup that you mentor or advisor?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do have. I think like out of like startup reality, around 20% were able to pivot, just because I think it's very hard already to find the startups who like starting their business and saying, okay, we will be completely offline. Right. So
Yeah.
I think majority already trying to do a business model where you have online interaction, or at least you could provide the service or deliver product. So I would say most of them were able to pivot. But of course, if we come into such industries like automotive industry, or like even like jobs or education, it's a bit depends again, right? Maybe jobs, education is a bit easier, but the jobs, for instance, industry, it's a bit harder to pivoting with classified business and so on, just because it is the way how the business made, right? And the demand is changing. So it's very important which, of course, vertical you are. And looking again at the fintechs, right? I think a lot of them were able to pivot quickly and now go to investing stage. But of course, it's like really important first where you are, like what bucket and which industry.
Yeah, sure. Daria, yeah, about the second part about team management and management style now.
Sure. I can tell you more about our management style that differently has changed, and then I'll also add you about the business types and everything that's going on with the business at SupportYourApp. So basically, there are two different types of businesses, and it's according to the book of Drive. And the first type of people that they use this business management style, they call it type A, and it's people that should follow written instructions and guidelines. So basically, when you have these people working with you, you need to have the really clear instructions and one-to-one points like what should you do and how you can control it. The second type, it's type B, and it's more about motivation, that people follow the same idea of the company, and management of these people is just the leaders. They inspire their employees, they inspire their people. So I would say that currently the shift of all these types we can feel, and we can see that remotely when we work from homes, we couldn't control unless we use different like time tracking applications, what your people do and how they work, and they can work whether just a couple of hours within the business hours, or let's say even more than they have to. And it's quite opposite, and it's also not good, let's say, if the people working less or they worked too much. So I would say currently at SupportYourApp depends on also on occupation and what people do, what their like professional skills are. They can shift from the type A, when you have written instructions and guidelines, to more to the type B, when you have freedom and you know the responsibilities, and you know that you have things to do because it's your field that you are basically in charge of. So two types that we have here at SupportYourApp, and I see that people are moving forward to the type B currently in this situation with this COVID-19 situation. And if we're talking about management, I'd like also to add that what changed at SupportYourApp for the last 5-6 weeks, that we also changed the product value proposition basically. We've started providing and offering to our clients tailor-made solutions. So we are not fixed in what we do. We're not like very conservative. When we have potential client, we always try to find a flexible, tailor-made solution, even maybe to change our model that we used to have in order to win this client. And I also will notice different companies from Ukraine, for instance, that are also operating in the US, like companies like Allsat, that also working with the delivering of goods or groceries from grocery stores or restaurants. So basically the companies, they were focusing on delivery foods. However, with all the situation right now, what they do, they also like did a pivot, and they started working with the restaurants. They didn't have their own delivery systems, so they just offer them to use their platform as a solution to deliver basically food from restaurants. Also very smart. If you do something very quickly and you understand that you can make these changes right away, it will be beneficial for every company. And as far as I know, like if it's a huge company with a lot of bureaucracy, it will be more difficult to change something as it's when it comes to startups.
I think it's
Okay.
brilliant, actually. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I think it's like a brilliant example of the pivoting that Dasha just said. Like, I think there is a very good example where you could definitely do more in the good way of getting more consumers, but as well like giving back to community.
Actually, for example, in our team and in our community, it depends upon not only an idea, but also about, of course, the team. And that's why I ask about some management style and inside the teams. And how did interpersonal relations and communications changes in your teams and with your clients? Because it's really important on the same page with the business models or their working style.
Yeah. I mean, I think like it's very good point, Jane, that you made, right? So in terms, it's one thing you fixing internally within you, the another thing you're adopting to the style of what customers are doing right now. What's your yeah? So I think like in our case, it definitely depends on where model is. You're choosing a different approach in the comms, right? So definitely you're adjusting the comms, and the full goal is to support, right? That time is not about selling. That time is about of support. I mean, I'm just right now talking from my perspectives, right? Or in my type of business. So it's like support the customers to survive through that. If you could do it, if you're a service that are actually helping them to generate the consumers. So that's basically what's have changed, I think, for us. And of course, we adapted to the clients' current management style. And another thing for those customers who right now actually on acceleration paths, we even triple our focus, right? Because we really want to make sure that we're supporting them in that period to grow, and we could give them even more offers that could help them to do. From another side, or those who completely like stop their businesses, or they're just like trying to change something, meanwhile, where you could really support your client, right? Or to adjust the way how you manage them is, of course, showing full empathy. It's first of all, I mean, empathy is always important, not just in the COVID, but you could go some extra miles, right? And then support them with building recovery plan. Because I think the mistake that some companies are doing when they're so focusing on what is bad, they're forgetting about that this bad going to finish, right? And so that's very important, is not to wait 2 months and then, okay, we're going to think about recovery tomorrow. let's think about recovery today, because by thinking about this today, you might come up immediately with some pivoting models that you potentially could engage. For example, like let's say your business is within like auto segment, right? You're selling the cars online. You cannot do anything else than just like right now is no one is buying cars because people like care about other stuff. What you could do meanwhile, you could work on the app, where if you don't have an app, most of those type of clients don't have an app, and then you could try to engage customers with some cool offers that would be available as soon as like everything back to normal. I really like what was, for instance, KLM was doing. Like think about airplanes, right? No one is flying, completely decrease in all their loss and costs. And what they've done, they start to basically email campaigns where they're proposing to the consumers to buy the tickets in future with 100% refund if it doesn't happen, or if the person wouldn't be able to fly because of his personal circumstances. That flexibility is great. I think that that's something that we should keep even after COVID, because this is the way how we're showing the love to our consumers, and that's the moment when the loyalty start to grow. But of course, to do this all not perfectly, but I would say do it like in the right way. It is important to coach your team of how to speak right to the customers. And I do believe that during the COVID situation, engagement is grew, or importance of engagement is grew as even more than it was before. Because like if before we could sit in the same place, probably give some hints and tips, have some talks, it's now way more complicated. It's taking way more time and efforts, have day-to-day calls with everyone, right? And so you shouldn't underestimate the importance of engagement with your team and coaching them of how to address different issue without assuming that they will naturally will be able to reflect or understand. And I'm sure like Dasha, I think like could even add more here. I'm sure the guys are doing a great job of coaching their customer team and so on. And that's what I think is super critical for adjusting in the way how you lead the team and how you manage the team.
Yeah, Daria, maybe three main changes in communication and work with your clients and customers.
So in terms of clients and customers, I would say I want to also maybe talk more about two different groups of people, of clients and customers and users. There are customers that are really feel bad currently because they have problems with their businesses, and they really want to have kind of help and assistance in order to recover in the end or just survive. However, there are also clients that just make use of this situation. And from the inside, we also feel and see how the increase of the basically workflow, we see this increase of workflow. However, everyone is asking for, like some special conditions and discounts. And we know that currently for some companies, it's very good moment to earn some money. But instead of just, like operate as they used to, or even better, they still come to us, they ask for another conditions, or just for another price, let's say. And it's very, I would say, unfair sometimes, because again, we see everything from the inside. So here, when we talk to our clients, we understand that, and we are very flexible and very adaptive and agile. And we always put ourselves in our clients' shoes, and we always try to find the best solution. And we okay to wait until the situation will be stable, whether it will be in 1 week or 1 month or maybe in 1 year. No one knows basically. So here we also want to keep this very honest and transparent communication style. It's what basically I always teach my people, my management, my core team, to always tell the truth. If we can afford some kind of discounts or better price, and we always meet our clients' expectations. Sometimes we can't. And I also remember one interesting case. I do not remember the name of this brand. It's just a designer of clothes. And the lady was creating a very, very nice dresses for different nurses in basically medical offices. And she did deliver free of charge. So these nurses can wear their nice dresses after a long working day, taking care of people who basically were just in these hospitals. So, but the people, they found it very ridiculous and say like, why the nurses need this kind of dress when we have this uncertain, unstable times? And instead of just, like, saying thank you for this brand, for this lady who was in charge of just, to making maybe a better mood of these people who work, who basically they are very hardworking. They do very important job. And in the end, they're women. They want to go home. They want to wear some nice dress. Like other people, they didn't get this message that they want to kind of cheer up these nurses. So here with this situation, this message, even if the message is very nice and very kind, some people, there will be some haters as well with the clients. Some clients and some companies always will be like on a side, on a not on a flip side, on a light side, and understand all changes in the companies. However, we also have huge changes while we are talking internally, because the question in the beginning was about interpersonal relationship. And currently it feels like we got to know each other better because we have daily checkup calls 3 times a day. So we have morning call, just a call at 9:45 a.m. every day, where we discuss our plans for the current day. Then we have a day checkup. And by the way, when we have a daily checkups, it's at 2:30 p.m. We are not talking about our current open tasks, ongoing tasks. We're just talking about something, we're just answering some interesting questions. For instance, what is your favorite movie? What is your favorite song? To know each other better. And in the evening, basically, we just try to understand, to close this working day, because when you work at home, you couldn't feel this borders. You couldn't feel like where you have your days over, working day, or you're still working. Basically, what day is today? Whether it's Wednesday, Monday. So we want also like to end up with this productive day, and then plan something personal for the evening. So it's what is really changed, and I really want to keep this tradition when this situation will be over.
And it's also super motivate each other. Yeah, sure. Nina, maybe you have some cases that super excited and inspired you for these days. It can be, for example, some changes inside management of your partners, or something new in trends, something that super inspired you this time.
I mean, overall, looking at the European ecosystem, and I think there is a lot of things that European ecosystem, like CIS market, could learn from that, right? Because if you could see a lot of business communities, they like really gather together and start to give back, right? Obviously, I would agree with Dasha here that what's very often happening when you're starting to give back a lot, it's the asks are growing as well, right? So like you're giving a small portion just to support, and then suddenly like, communities expect way more. And it is important, I think, for all business community to remember we all together in the same boat. We're all trying to help as much as we can. But of course, if someone in the position where they could help a bit more, it doesn't mean that they could give everything away, right? So that's like, and I'm hearing from my friends, like when they let's say start to do the discounts for the clients, and the clients coming to them and saying, can you do just for us 3 months free because it's a COVID, and it's right things to do, right? So that that's like, the things that are actually, it's a real cases. But what inspires me personally, I think I've mentioned a few cases already, right? And I don't want this as well to repeat what is Dasha already saying. A lot of businesses is trying to give back, changing their business models, but as well like food delivery are giving back to the people who are homeless, for example, right? Or a lot of fashion designers gather together and just start to do the clothing for like nurses, medicine employees, and so on. A lot of job segregators, for instance, started for free do the listing for medicine, like medical jobs. And there is tons of those examples. And it would be very great if like some of that will be actually transforming as a goodwill and as a, I would say, behavior, of course, after COVID. Not necessarily it's happened, but of course, it's like great to believe in that. And I do believe that countries where businessmen could do more, it is important to do more. And it is important to gather money to support the people who was like less lucky, or to support the startups, or to support accelerators, and so on. So that's right things to do for now. But we just obviously, all of us need to be cautious about doing it for the good reasons, but without like, like bad impact afterwards for the businesses who are doing that actually.
Yeah, thanks. Daria, if we speak about not only our companies, of course, and about this time and our reality, what trends do you observe that are developing now that might help the economy or ecosystems to recover faster after that? Because I saw also questions in our chat, and I understand that it's really important for our attendees.
Right. So from our perspective, they really think that we used to using right now, it's obviously the order delivery, grocery delivery, vs just a regular shopping. So basically, I think that this will definitely help businesses after this situation, and I think this probably will also change the habit of people behavior, basically how they used to do their shopping, right? So it will definitely help businesses recover faster after this situation. And another trends, apart from just delivery, all this logistics stuff, it's obviously SaaS and educational things. So what I observed that currently really growing demand of different personal educations, of personal development and skill upgrade. So it's great. We can imagine that without any borders, living like here, and even doesn't matter where you live right now, you can study, you can learn something new 24/7. You can have unlimited access to basically different courses, knowledge base. And basically when people will get these new skills, that will also help economy recover afterwards, because we will have the new professionals, people with the new skill sets. And in terms of trends, what I can see, it's more about also entertainment part. So there are more and more different games, especially mobile games, are getting more popular, and people are just spending time on the things that they want to have the online entertainment. So they want to spend time with playing someone who's just, even if it's a probably group games. So you have your teammate and you can both play one game and feel this competitive competition. And in terms, by the way, of inspiration, I have one very nice example. I would say that for me personally, the most impressive outside of SupportYourApp, outside of the company observation, it's the way how the beauty salons, the beauty companies started to move forward from the service company. to, you know, like tutorial developers company. And what they do, they make in different beauty kits and they just send it to home. So you can, at home, you can do like some beauty things. I mean, like you have tutorial video, how to do your nails, let's say, and then you have also all the equipment to do this. And it's really inspiring how the very like offline business service companies still have this adaptivity and started completely different kind of business.
This transformation, yes. Maybe you want to add some also as you think about this trends or transformations too.
Yeah, I think like about trends I could talk for hours because the place where I work, so that's part of my job, right? To assess the trends. So definitely that's like could be a different webinar, right? But if like to maybe summarize it on a helicopter view, overall, every crisis is giving you opportunities, right? And what we see a lot in the crisis, the digital is a race. So first of all, I do believe that what happened and give a big push to many, as Dasha said, like offline or old school businesses to transform their business to online. That is always good for economy, right? In the same side, we could really think about governmental institutes, right? So because economy is way wider than just business ecosystem, it's as well what is from governmental side, what the institutes are actually driving the economy and so on. And we could see as well very good examples, right, where like schools, universities, or operations that was like, like for instance, I'm living in Germany, right? I needed to receive my residence ID. Normally I would go to the place. It will take 2 weeks because its IDs need to be taken only personally. And it's cost a lot, by the way, like, just to pay all the fees. And basically this is from where the government as well taking money, right? And now it's started to be delivered just to home, like, without anything, right? And they sending you online notification that it would be delivered to you at that time. So that's like, we could see that even governmental side, right, or institutes start to develop and transform, like schools getting to the online education, institutes will get to online education. So thinking about like education fees, right? In future, if you before could afford only maybe 100 students, right? Now you can afford 1,000 students. Only what you need to do is like really develop strong curriculum. And that's what was one of the reasons why we decided to enter with Femtech at that time, right? Because we have really cool and strong curriculums and really great, strong role models who would teach people, right? So that's one thing. Another thing in terms of trends, definitely what was happening is the behavior changes. No surprise, entertainment, video consumption, like basically all how to survive, how to get deal with my boyfriend, how to not get divorced, how to cook the pancakes, how to do the like beauty. So everything, whatever you would ask normally your friend, like how to, right? So how to is the biggest trend. And obviously, what is important to understand that it's not long-lasting trend, right? So it's going to finish, and some of the way will go back to the way how it was before, but some of the part will actually remain within the segment. And so if you're a business, you really need to identify that part that will remain to continue using this online services and win their love now. So you could like then build loyalty afterwards. I think such companies like Disney, for instance, had the best times in their last years because, for instance, they were launching Disney Plus. What could be better than Disney Plus for parents, right? Who are staying at home and need to advertise their kids. And there is many other examples of like that. And obviously, like Disney Plus will not go away after it will be finished, right? So kids will get used to that and they will continue to consume right there. So that's the opportunity as well, right? And this is how it's going to help to recover for economy, especially that segment that will last after it will be finished.
Right. Also we have a few questions from our participants. That's why, Daria, are you considering leaving the company to work remotely forever?
No, thank you for this question, but no. My motivation and my productivity is here working from offices, not from home.
Okay, another one for Nina. What type of businesses or segments you might invest considering an emerge in the new area post-COVID pandemic?
Yeah. So I think the definitely the businesses or verticals or areas where I see strong right now. Part of them is a fintech, so it's all solutions that are helping you either to trade online or to optimize around your, let's say, taxes, or optimize around your payments. So everything that is, it was, by the way, strong before, right? It just was less impacted by COVID. So I would assume that after post COVID time period, that still will remain a generating machine, right? So that's where I would definitely invest if I will be a big VC fund, right? I'm doing angel investments, but that's not those sums, right? As well, any like, online. So I would, by the way, like in terms of, we talked today a lot about food delivery, right? And I would say that was one of the most interesting vertical to really see how they develop, because not interesting from the way how great they are, but as well how many things was fucked up there. Like, in terms like really like delaying the deliveries, really like doing last moment cancellation, because just like, the ecosystem or resources wasn't ready, right, from their side. So all solutions that are helping big businesses or even startups to optimize around their efficiency, that's definitely that will be needed even after, and that's as well could be investment area. All solutions that are helping people to choose the best product comparisons, right? So top 5 education, like, they were before, they continue last, and they continue generate the profitability, especially with some lower margin pressure. SaaS solution, right? I mean, Dasha business, I would definitely, if I have a few millions, would invest in her business, because, support, supporting consumers would be is always like, it never will be. I would say old fashioned, right? That's an ongoing need. It's something like clean hand, like your hands. So definitely, that's again like everything to the consumer behavior, driving behavior around efficiency, fintechs, like SaaS. So that's definitely the segments where I would invest.
I can add, if I would have like a couple of extra millions, I also see the new regulations about the KYC procedures, about like how
privacy,
documents verifications procedures are conducted right now. So I would also will consider, like, if all banks, let's say all banks will be online, all the financial structures will be online, like Revolut or something like that, all the verifications, they will be also online, and the basically different loans will be also online, and you have the net scoring. So all these kind of solutions, it's also very attractive for investors. It's the one thing. And the second thing, it's basically businesses that are focusing on B2C model, because B2B, it's not so stable currently, but B2C, like consumers, and especially that some things that I really need currently, or they probably people, consumers, they use it quite often. It's something that is also very interesting to think about as investors.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And about investors and point as an investor, we also have not question, but they want some recommendations from you. Make use of these. You need to understand what is that, and watch out on this. So our participant, I think, he asked us about what the main points we can make in our projects, and what some things you need in our startups and projects, because he have too much questions.
So basically, like every company, for instance, here, like we already have a stable business, SupportYourApp, but we also opened, like, launch a new startup, Label Your Data. It's about annotation data, labeling data for AI for automotive industries. And as every startup that is looking for investments, you're supposed to have one idea in your company, in your startup. So basically, one idea, one problem that you would like to solve. You're supposed to have a very good team that will be focusing only on one this idea, on one this problem. And in the beginning, it's very good to have kind of MVP or already a better version of product or solution. So at least you already have something in your hands to show to potential investors. So from my perspective, is three the most important things that every startup is supposed to have.
So I guess I need to answer what not to do, right? So if I understand
Or what not to do, yeah.
yeah, what to do? Well, that's a good. I mean, I have so many examples what's not to do. Definitely what's not to do. It's we obviously we're right now in the time when the investor are cautious about their investments, and like it's way harder like to receive right now pre-seed or seed, right? If you're just starting, and if the investments are happening and more happening on the A probably stage, A level or B level, because it's already some proven model. So I guess like definitely have very clear expectations, not to be too much overestimating the current realities. But I think what is as well important, I see the biggest trend right now. Many great, I would say, smart people, right? Great brains. I wanted to say smart people are investing a lot of time in building the COVID, right, solutions or like startups who could address the issues. That is absolutely great. But I would say I would go there only if you're really sure that your technology would allow you not just to hype on that, because I could see like many is like, oh, we are supporting that. We just raised like 200, like, or 20,000, or like, but that's and it's great that people are doing this. This is what needs to be done. What I'm trying to say that it's like if you're really going to that direction, really make sure that your idea is something that you truly believe in. You're not trying to hyping on the current situation, right? So that's definitely will not help as well for your father brand history, right? Like what you were doing before. And when you are preparing your like the biggest mistakes that I see startups are doing sometimes when you're preparing for like present your plan or MVP to investor, make sure that your finance are crystal clear. Make sure that you could really show the good like at least 5 years vision of how your business would be developed. Don't overpromise. As long as you will overpromise, or it might look like it's super great when you're receiving a lot of money, but at the same time, if you're receiving a lot of money, you're giving a very big share of your business as well. So really like evaluate what is exactly you need. Don't overpromise. Have a very clear message and MVP and really clear finance plan that could really help you and save you from many mistakes that you could then would be hard to handle as much as you will receive more investments from different investors.
Okay, the next one for Daria. You're speaking about your service. Do you feel growth or decline of interest at the moment, or things are stable?
As I said in the very beginning, there are some verticals, some business models, some segments that are post right now their operations. It's basically our clients from the travel industry, from offline, of course. However, there are also some verticals that are growing currently. So basically, in terms of the entire company, we are more or less on the same level, because some clients and some projects stopped and some projects they increased. In terms of new clients, we still continue to sign up new clients, so the interest of our services exists. But I couldn't say that there are like the same probably interest that it was like in winter. And again, there were holidays. There were Easter. Currently we all have another wave of holidays. It also like very seasonal. So we will see. But the current situation, to sum up, we are on the same level.
Okay. One question for both of us. Do you have some recommendations or messages about some disruption IT in this new area and new era? So it's again about, I think, business models and commercial models, because we talk about that too much today, and maybe sum up from you about the main of them in this time.
I think it could disrupt in any vertical, honestly. Nowadays, it's the COVID again proves that most of the models could be disrupted. So I honestly, I'm sorry who asked this question, but I honestly think that it's a wrong question. It's just because it's like, it's like to ask, like, just tell me where the best to get $1 million. It's like the same question, but I would say, I think we've talked about today verticals who are growing pretty intense, right? Like fintech, like sport tech, like food tech. So and that remains the same. It doesn't mean that the other verticals cannot be disrupted. It just means it's all about how you believe you could disrupt these models, or what the idea is behind that. So it's all about idea. I do believe that every single vertical currently could be disrupted by great idea and a great approach, because as we could see, like, just think about the number around eight, if I'm not mistaken, 8 billion people in the world, like, right, the connected online. So that's a huge pool of what you could do for customers, and basically every idea could have a chance for life. It's just all about idea.
What I want to mention, I basically would like to mention Zoom. For me, it was a disruptive IT solution, because we used to use, let's say, Slack and some in-app services. However, with the Zoom, currently, the evaluation of company is like twice bigger than Uber and Lyft together, something like that. So for me, it was a disruptive IT company that just appeared during this COVID situation. And other industries, it probably also will be in different like e-commerce verticals, and like basically everything that we mentioned, where we have where we can see all the trends, what people change in their behaviors. So basically, yeah, I agree with Nina at this point, but I really wanted to mention Zoom.
Okay, super. And maybe the last question from me. And what will be the sign for you and your companies that this economical crisis is over?
I mean, obviously, there is a few signs. One science is natural science, another science is governmental science, right? So governmental is like when the basically but it's not about economical crisis will be finished, right? It's about when the business will be able to start to operate after COVID, right? And it's very driven by the government side. And obviously, I think one of the signs would be is active work with the customers on the how again acquire more clients, especially with those segments that currently in challenging or in situation when they're trying to understand how to change their business model or prepare for the new after COVID period. So I think that was definitely a very good time, the productivity from their side, right? And really willingness to drive and pivot further on. That means that they would see opportunity for economical gain, and that means that it will drive economy further.
Okay, so as for me, and of course, the main indicators would be the GDP growth and the stock market recovery, and it's on like in general general macro level. But for the SupportYourApp, I'm sure that the best indicator would be when our people will be discussing their next adventures in our cafe or at our kitchens. And that would definitely will mean that they have enough resources to go to the places they want to go and to do things that they really want to accomplish. So basically, not just recovering in terms of the very common functions and operations, but again, to have these resources, budget, let's say, to accomplish all plans that were postponed. So basically, for me, it will be a clear sign that basically this situation and the sign of the economical crisis is over.
I wanted to make a joke about stock markets, like when the oil will start to recover again. It would be a sign. No, I'm joking.
This kind of, but especially for Ukrainian, let's say, economy, and especially for GDP growth. Yeah.
It was the last but not the least, the question, because we have a question from our participant. Ladies, a question to you regarding general transformation of the IT sector in Ukraine. What do you think how the recent situation impacts the balance between service and product companies?
I can say that currently what I've heard from different IT entrepreneurs, especially that they run outsource or service companies, everyone recommends to start kind of product companies, to transform from an outsource from service model to a product company. However, what I also see that if the company is diversified and has different verticals, let's say this company is secured and can still operate and grow and have new clients and scale to new markets, and everything will be fine. And also I have the feeling if the company is very small and has like small, I mean like 25 people, maybe 50 people, and it's a service company and has only 1 or 2 clients, I think that probably it's better to have kind of M&A with the bigger companies, to make sure that the project will be the project can survive and the company can survive as well. So again, different visions, different recommendations, but I still believe if the company has a diversified portfolio, everything will be fine. Apart from that, you may try to launch, to develop a product, and yes, and basically launch it on the market.
Okay, Nina, add please.
Yeah, no, I mean, guys, I'm focusing right now mainly on Central Europe, so on Germany, right? But of course, I could only evaluate like from my friends who are still doing business in Ukraine. I mean, I think Dasha said very important thing is diversification of portfolio. So no matter what business you are doing, if you could really diversify with those who very potential but risky, and those who are very stable, and you know that maybe they not so profitable in terms of margin pressure, but they will survive, is definitely the key to success, right? To just continue operate. Otherwise, you just will end up either or. That's never good. And I don't think that there is too many smart entrepreneurs left who would do it. But of course, we do have examples where the company have only one big client, right? And they really depend, all their fixed costs are very dependent on that big client. And if it stopped within the COVID, right, then all, even if their offer is very online and could be at investing stage, just because they were dependent on one client, and for them it's very hard to find someone new. So I think it's from the beginning. I think COVID really teaches one good few good learnings. First, we wasn't ready for that, right? We all know that now. But second is that for those who are actually going for the bigger fish and forgetting middle fish and small fish, now they learn how to actually diversify their offers more and optimize resources around those offers in order, if it's happen again, right? So they could like have some economical backup within their companies. That's what is, I think, Ukraine different from many European countries. In Ukraine, entrepreneurs didn't receive any support from government. They didn't receive money. They wasn't like the employees of those companies wasn't paid salaries as much as it's happening, for instance, in Germany, right? And no one was giving to entrepreneurs like grants of 20 or 30K just to at least try to cover fixed costs. That's a big difference, and that's what actually hit it, I think, mainly entrepreneurs in Ukraine, because they only would now need to be related on their own economical backup. They like cash backup they have created over the last year. But if you're a new business, obviously you don't have any backup. So that's what would change, I think, overall Ukraine ecosystem after the COVID a lot.
Right. Thank you, ladies. We have 1 hour left, yeah, and thank you very much. Firstly, Nina and Daria, and I wish for you, for your families and teams, only growth and positive growth in every sector. I mean, not only work, but also your mental health, of course. And I wish you, all the participants, the super productive week. So, see you for the next maybe events, and see you in our offline, I hope, very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.